Perfect. I'm just going to stabilize you with the pelvis, relaxing that shoulder, and a little bit of push right there. Let it go. Nice job.
Sometimes in the morning, like when I'm, for example, this morning I got up out of bed and I felt like maybe I turned the wrong way or something, because all of a sudden I felt like a shooting pain, like kind of right here.
Yeah.
And it kind of lasted longer than normal, but I knew I was coming in today, so I thought, okay, well, I just kind of brushed it off.
Yeah.
And then sometimes throughout the day, if I'm kind of sitting a different way or make like a weird turn.
You're saying that you're feeling it more onto the anterior thigh.
Yeah, it's more like here.
Mm-hmm.
And then here.
And it's different sensations, right? The numbness is on the side.
Yeah, numbness is mostly from like here to here-ish.
And then the pain
is mostly here and like here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Nothing inside or at the bottom.
Yeah, the good thing about the x-rays is it actually helps me to track where I'm scanning your spine, because you got a little bit of curvature on that left side here.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. So we're looking more towards the mid-lower back area here, and that's going to be your L3, L2 area.
Okay.
And again, so you have what's called dermatomes, which basically is your sensory fibers. So when you feel like sensations onto the skin, like the numbiness, or even pain, you'll start to find that there's some stresses here. So typically down to your knee, that's your L3. Typically a little bit higher is L2, a little bit higher is L1. And when that happens, when I say L1, L2, L3, I'm talking about your lumbar spine here.
Okay.
So here you have 5, 4, you have L3 right here, you have L2, and then you have L1. I'm going to tilt you over to the side here. There's L1, L2, L3. Any pain with those?
Just harder pressure, it feels like.
I'm going to tilt you over to the side this way. Yeah, so what we're doing is I'm feeling for movement of the joint. Okay. So not only do we see inflammation and swelling here, we're looking for fixation where that joint doesn't move, where basically it's restricted here. And then you can see over here, as your spine kinks over to that left side, or I'm sorry, to your right side, that L3 and that L2, I can tell they don't move to the left a little bit. That L3 seems to be actually the one that's not moving very much.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to start with L3.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's T5, T6, 5, 4. How's 5?
Yeah,
right
that
there.
one,
Okay,
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good.
C6, C7, T1, C6, 7, 1. How's 7 feeling? Any soreness there?
I'd say 1.
1 a little bit more sensitive?
Yeah, a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so this is where we're going to start, man. We're going to start with T1.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. And we said T5, right? That was one that kind of caused you to jump out a little bit? We're going to try that out. Let's see here. 4, 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Chin over to the left. There you go. And as you do that, you're going to bring your chin up just a little bit. What I want to do with the left hand, I'm going to push right here. This hand, I'm going to stabilize it just like that.
Okay.
So as you relax, just let your ear just fall over. And there you go. And then chin up just a little bit. There you go, man. Good stuff.
I wasn't expecting that.
No. Good stuff.
But I appreciate it.
Alright, so this guy right here. Just a little bit. All the way. Perfect. I'm just going to stabilize you with the pelvis, relaxing that shoulder, and a little bit of push right there. Let it go. Nice job. Coming up. Alright, with that one, go ahead and stand from me facing me. So once you're marching in place with that one, because we got some movement on there.
Okay.
Now movement's going to be really important to get some of the swelling and inflammation out.
Okay.
So later on today, I want to probably have you start walking a little bit more.
Okay.
Just because the movement's going to help to get those joints to move.
Sure.
And as it does that, it helps to push out some of the inflammation.
Okay.
Alright, so come on over. Let's have a seat right on that side. Alright, breathing in. Let it go. Dropping the shoulders. Deep breath again. Let it go. Breathing out. Dropping the shoulders. Relax. Nice job, man.
Yeah, I mean, it feels definitely different.
Mm-hmm.
Not as kind of tight, you know, but...
Good.
Feels nice.
So when we get pressure off of that nerve, right,
Mhm.
and it starts to get relief off of that, that pressure, you'll still possibly feel like the numbiness with that.
Okay.
Over a period of time, as we reduce some of that pressure, it should help to alleviate that.
Okay.
Now, we're not talking bone on bone here. That's not choking the nerve, but when you have a lot of inflammation and swelling in there, it decreases the amount of space where that nerve goes. And so this is where if we can continue getting pressure off of that lower back, also, like I said, once we kind of level out that pelvis, because you can see how it's dropped down on that left side, when we start to bring up that pelvis a little bit, kind of get your spine closer to the center, over time that should start to reduce a lot of that stress there.
Okay.
Now with that, again, that's where over time we're going to expect some of those nerves that go down into the legs, down into the feet, that should start to alleviate some of that pressure. Okay. Now with that, we worked on that L3 here. Now again, this is where it goes over to the left and then it kinks back to the side. With that L3, we're trying to close that down, so eventually what we want to see is that will start to open up and straighten out a little bit.
Okay.
Again, it's been that way for a long time, so I'm not expecting it to go completely straight. But if
Right.
we can start to reduce that pressure, that should help out.
Yeah.
Now we also did your mid back on that T5. Again, this is where it kind of has like this weird kind of curve going on in this area. And then the last one we did was your T1. Okay, so we got some good adjustments today.
Yeah.
Let's see how you do. So you do have some homework for me, okay?
Okay.
The first thing is I want you walking, okay?
Okay.
Now that we got some movement in the joints, walking is going to be the best form of exercise just to undo some of that stress.
Okay.
It's starting to allow the body to undo all the compensations and the shifting and the moving that's been happening.
Sure.
Okay? So 15, 20, 30 minutes, let's just get some movement.
Okay.
The next thing is you might feel some soreness. Again, because when we move those joints, your body's not used to that position. We're making changes to this spine.
Yeah.
So your body might start to have a little more tension in the muscles, a little tightness. Sometimes you have a little soreness, just like as if you gone to the gym. When you work out for the first time, you're like, oof, I feel a lot of soreness.
Yeah.
It's just telling you that we did some work today.
Okay.
So ice if you need to. So 15 to 20 minutes, get an ice pack, paper towel around it. You can ice those areas that you might feel some soreness from the adjustments.
Okay.
Okay. And then the last thing is, how's your water intake?
Could be better.
Okay.
Yes, could be better.
They say now you want to try to drink about half your body weight in ounces. So however much you weigh, divide that by 2 and try to get that in terms of ounces of water.
My real weight or the weight that I tell people?
Yeah, you choose that one.
Okay. Fair enough.
One step at a time, but
Great.
the first thing is just that adjustment that we did right now.
I appreciate it.
Next time you
Thank
come in, we'll see how you're doing, okay?
Okay, sounds
Okay,
good.
man. Welcome to the office.
Nice talk. Appreciate it.
All right.